The film begins with Rebecca, whose life was perfect. She had a small family, her husband, and son. Everyone was happy. Rebecca's husband, Peter, worked at a church, and he wanted Rebecca and her son to work with him, helping people who believed in God. Rebecca believed everything Peter said and started going with her son. But one day, it changed Rebecca's life. Peter took his son to a camp, where he returned and took his own life. This tragedy left Rebecca devastated. She was no longer interested in anything. She even left the church and began using drugs to try to overcome her grief. Peter, who was highly respected in society, began to grow tired of Rebecca's behavior. He told Rebecca, "You only have 1 year. If you don't get yourself together, I'll leave you." Rebecca, who loved Peter deeply, was determined to never give up on him. She wanted to, and she decided that from now on, she would do whatever Peter wanted. Peter assigned Rebecca's counseling duties to his friend, Miriam, who worked with him at church, and moved to another house. Having decided that he would only see Rebecca again when she was completely well. Time passed, and it was almost a year since Rebecca and Peter had been together. We see Rebecca, whose condition had worsened over the course of this year. Although she wasn't taking drugs, she still had hallucinations. She began to believe that someone in the house was stalking her, who wanted to kill her. Someone who would come into their house at night and then sneak into Peter's office. She tried to tell everyone about this, telling Peter on the phone, telling Mary, but Mary refused to believe her. Peter even told her, "I feel like you haven't given up your habits. You're still doing drugs." After hearing this, Rebecca finally admits that these might be her hallucinations. Perhaps she's seeing these things because of her depression and anxiety. Once she believes this, a few days go well. But one day, she feels as if someone has sneaked into her house. She's now inside Peter's office. Terrified, she calls Peter, but Peter refuses to answer her call. She texts him, "I think a thief has broken into our house, and I'll kill him." Prika, terrified, takes a gun and sneaks onto her bed. She hears a voice near her door. She immediately takes the gun and comes out, but Peter is at the main entrance. She's terrified. Seeing Peter, she runs downstairs and tells him, "Believe me, someone broke into the house and wants to kill me." Peter, believing her, searches the entire house, even his office, but there's no one in the house. Peter becomes enraged and yells at Rebecca, saying, "You haven't stopped your drug use. You haven't stopped taking drugs, and that's all taking its toll." Rebecca promises him, "I haven't done anything for the past year. I'm not using substances. Miriam is also counseling me, and I've improved a lot. She says, I want to be with you. I'm changing myself to be with you." But Peter didn't believe a single word of hers. Peter angrily tells Rebecca, "We only have a few months left, and if you do and improve yourself, I'll leave you." The next day, we see Rebecca cleaning the garden. She feels as if there's a shadow inside her house, a shadow watching her. Miriam arrives at her house and tells her about this. Miriam ignores her and begins to teach her Bible verses. During their conversation, Rebecca receives a message from Peter. He tells her that he'll be visiting her today. Rebecca is overjoyed. She had been waiting for this message for quite some time. Finally, Peter remembers her. She gets ready, cleans the house, decorates it a bit, and cooks Peter's favorite meal. After getting ready, she waits for him that night, and Peter finally arrives. Rebecca was overjoyed. But Peter hadn't come to meet Rebecca. He had come to give her the divorce papers. He tells Rebecca, "Sign these. I don't want to be with you anymore." Hearing this, Rebecca is devastated. She pleads with Peter, "Don't do this. I've completely changed myself for you. I've given up drugs, all my bad habits, and now I'll even start going to church with you." But Peter refuses to listen. This angers Rebecca, and a fight ensues. Peter tells Rebecca, "I want to leave you because of you. Our son died because of his negligence." Rebecca says what was his fault, he went with you. He came back and committed suicide, and must remember very well that before he went to the camp with you, he was very happy, and now would you like to tell me what happened in that camp, due to which my son came and took his own life? Both of them were shouting at each other, and finally, Peter tells Rebecca that whatever it is, I have decided that I will not live with you. When Becca, who did not even have parents, her son had also died, and now when her husband was also leaving her, life was going to be very difficult for her. That is why she decides that she will take her own life. Right now, she takes out a pistol from her drawer and puts it to her head and threatens to kill herself. During their argument, a loud scream is heard in the house. The sound was so terrifying that Rebecca and Peter's hair flew off. No human could scream that loud. Peter clearly knew there was a demon or some other force inside. The sound was so terrifying that both Peter and Rebecca were terrified. Rebecca, calling off her fight, says to Peter, "Look, I told you there's someone inside this house, a shadow. You didn't listen to me. Now you can hear it yourself." Peter, heeding Rebecca's advice, begins checking the entire house, but no one was inside. After searching for a long time, they find nothing inside, so Peter realizes it must be a misunderstanding. Rebecca says, "We can't both have the same thoughts. There really is someone here. That shadow has been living in this house ever since you left. He's repeatedly tried to kill me. He's tried it too, and he follows me around almost all the time, which is why I was scared, and you guys thought I was doing drugs." Peter still doesn't believe her. But Rebecca is very scared after this conversation, and she says to Peter, "Please, Peter, stay here tonight." Peter agrees and stays there. Rebecca serves food to Peter, and when Peter starts eating it, Rebecca sees that all the food has changed into a flash of black color, and at this time Peter's face has also turned black from inside, as if Peter himself has become a demon. Seeing all this, Rebecca gets even more scared. Peter understood that Rebecca is scared about something. He calls Rebecca and makes her sit beside him. Rebecca sees that Peter has become normal now. Peter says to her, "I understand that you are very scared, and you have let all these things take over your head. See, there is no need to think so much. Come, let us both pray together, and these things will go away from us." Rebecca listens to Peter. They begin praying together, but suddenly Rebecca sees that the door to Peter's office upstairs is open, and something has entered. She screams at the sound of the door closing, as Peter also heard it. So for now, he believes Rebecca. He goes upstairs with a gun and tries to open his office door. Peter tries to turn the door handle, but no matter how much noise he makes, it won't turn. Peter realizes that there's a terrible force lurking behind the door. Peter begins reciting some prayers while holding the door. Whatever was inside screams once more, so loudly that both Peter and Rebecca are frightened. Peter falls down, and all the paintings and objects in the house start falling off the wall. Rebecca understands that there's a demon or some evil force inside, some evil force that doesn't want them to stay here. She also understands that if people stay here, their lives could be in danger. She grabs Peter's hand and says, "Come on, Peter, let's get out of here." Peter agrees, but refuses to leave. He says to Rebecca, "I wonder why all this is happening in my house. Is God trying to give me some duty? Is this a sign for me? Maybe God chose me for such a huge challenge, to defeat such a powerful force?" He says, "I'll go inside because I want to know what this thing is and what it wants from us." Rebecca pleads with him, but when Peter refuses, Rebecca refuses to let him go alone. Fearfully, she decides to go with him. Once inside, Peter touches the office door. This time, as he turns the handle to open the door, lightning strikes the garden, setting it on fire. Scared, Rebecca went out and started saving the fire. Now, she was not going to go inside at all. She also tried to convince Peter, but Peter was still adamant that perhaps this was also a new sign for him. He said that I have been given a huge task by the court, and I will complete this task. Rebecca understood that whatever power was in their house, that power had affected Peter's mind. That is why Peter was not listening to anything. She was also forced to stay inside the house with Peter, and when she went inside to use the washroom, from inside the bathtub, saw a terrible black and very big hand coming out. The hand was moving towards her and was about to strangle her when there was a sound of something breaking from the brother. That hand disappeared and Rebecca came out. She saw that Peter had broken the glass with his hand, and now both of Peter's hands were injured. He was painting the door of that room with the blood from his cut hands. Confused, Rebecca asked Lamogi, "What are you doing now?" Peter said, "Do you know what's inside this? Behind this are angels. Angels who have come to me wanting to give me powers. They've come to give me a task, wanting to tell me how special I am. I've accepted this task. In this task, they told me I had to give them blood, and look, I gave them enough blood, and now I'll get my powers." Rebecca now thought Peter had gone mad. He couldn't understand that no angel or God demands a blood sacrifice. Suddenly, their entire house begins to shake violently. The house is plunged into darkness, and a light is seen coming from behind that door. Rebecca understood that this power is Satan, and this time Satan has descended into their house. Peter is once again asked by that power to give his blood. Throws his blood under the door, the blood disappears. From beneath the door, black powers emerge, which suddenly pick up the crucifix from Peter's door, throw it away, and give Peter powers. These were dark powers. Rebecca sees that Peter's wounds are healing on their own, and Peter, overjoyed by this, laughs hysterically. He finally manages to handle so much power at once and falls unconscious. Realizing that the house has become even more dangerous, she picks Peter up and takes him to her friend Miriam's house. They tell Miriam everything, and Miriam finds it hard to believe. Rebecca claims that there are demonic shadows in their house, while Peter claims that there are angels in his house who have given him power. Miriam is confused about whom to believe. She realizes that something must have happened at home that's causing the two to be disturbed. He says to both of them, "Do one thing. You both take rest. For today, we will talk about this after waking up in the morning." They go to sleep, and Rebecca, while sleeping, feels that those big demonic hands were moving towards her again, which even choked her throat. That is, they also strangled her. Rebecca got up in fear. There was no one there. She went to her husband's room to check on him, but Peter was also not there, and the strange thing was that Miriam was also not there. Suddenly, Rebecca's sign came. Did Peter take Miriam to his house to save both of them? She starts traveling towards her house. From outside, Rebecca sees that Miriam and Peter had now started worshiping those demonic powers. Going upstairs, she shouted, "What are you people doing?" Peter was overjoyed to see Rebecca there. He said to Rebecca, "Now you know everything. I'll tell you the truth. These powers aren't divine powers. They're demonic powers, and they've been with me since childhood. I've always followed and worshipped them, and now I want you to worship them too. Just like Mary is doing." He said, "We don't have to do much. We just have to feed this power our blood, and then it will do whatever we want." Rebecca was at a loss. She couldn't do this wrong, and she didn't want to. She wanted to run away, but Peter caught her. Miriam told Rebecca, "Don't say no to him. If you say no, you'll face your own consequences. You know your son refused in the same way, and do you know what happened to him?" Then he left. Rebecca's eyes were wide open, realizing that these same people were behind her son's death. Peter now tells Rebecca, "Look how Mary will feed him her blood." Didn't want to see this, and was about to run away, but Peter held her at gunpoint, cut her hand, and threw the blood under the door. Mary had cut her wrist, and because of the excessive bleeding, she fainted right there. Then, the same dark shadow dragged Mary from under the door. Seeing all this, Rebecca became very scared and tried to run away, but Peter told her, "Don't be afraid. Come on, it's your turn." Rebecca ran down the stairs, but suddenly Peter was standing in front of her, without using the stairs. He had become a demon, he could do anything. He stops Rebecca. Scared, Rebecca locked herself in the bathroom, while Peter said from outside, "Running away won't do anything. How long will you keep running? Come out, give your blood to Stephen and see. Everything will be normal between us and you. He then tells her the story of his son when he took him to the camp. He says, I tried to tell him how great these powers are and what they can do, but he behaved just like you. He didn't listen to me, and look what happened to him. I had to kill him because my demon told me to. Rebecca finds another clue, just as Peter could have killed his own son at the demon's command. Rebecca is furious and determined to take revenge. She opens the door and tells Peter, I'm ready. I'll do as you say. I'll give my blood to the demon. Rebecca goes upstairs to his office room. Peter explains how to perform the ritual. At that very moment, Rebecca picks up his gun and shoots him. She gives it as soon as Peter dies. The house starts shaking badly again. That door opens again. Black powers come out from inside it and drag the bullet injured Peter inside. What that demon did after taking him inside was not shown, but then suddenly a scary sound came, and the house became normal. As before, Rebecca understood that as soon as Peter died, that demon had also left this house because that demon and demonic powers were here only because of Peter. Now Rebecca was safe in this house but was alone. She decided to live this life alone, and this story ended here.